Yeah, global grant sounds like a really hard thing to do, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It sounds almost impossible, but it's really not. It's like anything else in Rotary, it's relationship based. That's what it is. There's some key relationships you have to develop. You have to develop relationships with clubs that are going to do you. We have a wonderful relationship with Cross Timbers, Louisville Noon, Highland Village, all the clubs in Southern Denton County that we're able to do some projects with when they're not doing a particular global grant that year. And like our club is not doing a global grant this coming up year. My year as president, which is kind of funny, again, we're not doing a global grant because we want to focus on something major in the community. So, but it's relationships. One of the most important relationships is who the club is going to be in the country you're doing it. You know, that's the key thing. And our club and a number of other clubs in Southern Denton County, Louisville and Cross Timbers, I just mentioned them, we all got, in March of 22, we know what happened with Russia, and we all wanted to try and do something to help Ukraine. You know, I love Ukraine, I love what Ukraine is fighting for, I think democracy is at stake here, so I want to do something to help support that. And so we talked and worked with Louisville Noon on the initial project. John Taser and the other clubs helped support it, and we got that going. And we sent 3 mobile medical clinics, funded that project. It's $99,000 total for 22, 23. This year, we're sending 2 mobile medical clinics, $85,000, and they're going to Kharkiv. And they're a little more expensive because they have dental and other equipment in them because they're focused on helping all the people that have been decimated, because there's not hardly any hospitals left in the Kharkiv area. But getting relationships there. And how do we get those relationships? Well, went to Rotary International Convention in June of 2022. Met the Ukrainian people representatives there and searched them out. Several of us did from the clubs there. And got a development of trust with them. One of them was a past district governor. One of, you know, they've been around Rotary, and you can, when you talk to somebody long enough, you know whether you got a relationship developing there or not. And so that's key important. We got that going, and then we came back, and then we started soliciting funds. And thank goodness we went right away. I went to Roger and went to Scott and started talking about what we're going to do it, and we started selling the project. And that's I'm doing the technical stuff on this one this year. Usually I don't do that. Usually it's Will or somebody else that's doing all this stuff and following up on it. But I'm doing this one this year just so I'm comfortable with everything that's going on. I'm usually the salesperson trying to get some money for it. So this $85,000 project we're doing, it's approved and the funding is going in right now. The actual mobile medical clinics are getting built right now. We started talking about it in April of last year. So it can happen if you get the right people knowing what they're doing and you got the right relationships. But the $85,000 project is composed of $32,000 in DDF. And almost all that DDF is coming out of our district. We have 2 other districts contribute a little bit to it because they saw it on matching grants and wanted to do something in Ukraine. In fact, I've had 4 clubs contact me after we closed we were fully funded. After we closed it, wanting to contribute money to it. Sorry. Hopefully we'll have something next year, but not this year. $32,000, that got matched by that. So we ended up having to generate $26,000 in club funds. And we did it. We have some personal donations from the Rotarians. We have several clubs supporting that in the area. And we got that done real quick, the $26,000. So an $85,000 project actually took $26,000 worth of funds. So one of the things I like, RI has really improved what they do with global grants, in my opinion. There's some countries that, and Ukraine's been one of them, they actually had to close a Rotary Club in Kiev because of the Rotary Club was not doing things right. They closed it and shut it down. We were working with the Rotary Club of Lviv, and now we're working with the Rotary Club of Kharkiv City. But I like Now, in Guatemala, we sent the money directly to Guatemala. We had to have all the banking information and do all that because we didn't want to pay the 5%. You know, we wanted to save that. Now, I think it's really wise to go ahead and pay the 5% because all the club monies now are going directly to RI, and they're going to make sure it's handled, everything's handled properly, and I feel much more comfortable. And we're getting the points for it as a club. Is that what you wanted, Rhonda?
Yeah, I want you to also talk about the process that y'all did where you set up meetings at other clubs and pitch the project.
We started, and if you want to start getting your toes in the water with the global grants, or you've got somebody in your club that's a key member of your club that's really interested in doing something in one of the countries. You know, you want to do that, but y'all don't have all kinds of money to be able to do that. You don't have all the relationships put in place and all that. You start looking for some of those projects that you can do. You can do them on matching grants, then you can go down there and separate by country and find other clubs, other districts are doing projects for that particular country. It's easy to do that. But the biggest thing to do is to start selling it is if you've got a global grant, or you want someone to have a global grant, Fort Worth. If you want somebody to have a global grant, then you start working with that particular club. They come up with a project, and maybe by April, by the time, or at least by the time we have the assembly and district conference, there'll be a booth there with people actually selling it. We started doing that in Guatemala. We did it for both Ukraine projects. We did it for Tikal, the project in Tikal, Guatemala. And that's the way to get other people involved and start getting their feet in the water. But if you got somebody that's really interested in Honduras, then you try and find that when they go to Honduras, find a club that knows what they're doing, develop a relationship with the people there, or go to an international convention like we did. If you're going to Singapore and you're interested in an international project, look who's there from the country you want to do the project in and find them. You can find them. Believe me. Yes?
I have a question. How do you get a booth?
How do you get a booth? Repeat it so they.
How do you get a booth? He'll send out Scott and actually Andy probably will have somebody. Well, it may be Jim. I bet it is. Jim Mall, the district secretary, will probably end up actually sending the request out, and we'll have a booth available. There'll be. It's not a booth, it's a table, and you put the real stuff on, and you put your little displays and all that other kind of stuff, and you sit there and man it, and I got yelled at for having the noise too loud. I had to turn it down during the meeting sometimes, but I'm used to getting yelled at.
You can do a video, you can bring a TV and do it. Or
you do a whole dog and pony show. And then if a club can't make a decision then, and you want to go sell it, then you got people who can actually come to your club and sell it, you know? Like if Fort Worth was working on a project and wanted me to help them talk about that and help them plan it and do all that stuff, and then they wanted somebody to help sell it, and they didn't feel even comfortable with somebody in their club doing it, I'd be happy to do that. I love, international is one of my most important focuses, so, yes?
You know, you talk about sustainability. Sustainability is not only the outcome of the project. For example, we just completed an international project. So when and it's a water project, so you have to build 5 housing units for these 5 projects. Even the construction, if you think about international, the construction is very different from what we do here. So if you want your plant to stay for 20 years, then you're going to construct it based on what you think. So I just basically send every single engineering drawing, including the concrete mix. Here's what I want. Here's the foundation. If you don't do that, the building will last for